All right, so welcome to the Kitchen WOD. If you hear Ellen in the background, that's Yuki folding clothes and watching Ellen. So, I'm back home. So with that, I've had a lot of people concerned, wondering, talking, whatever you want to put in there, about accurately tracking their macros. To be honest, this is pretty hard to do. I know it can be very hard to do, actually. Um, There's a difference, one, between tracking and counting macros versus calories, all right? Like tracking in your calories. That's why I don't really put an emphasis on calorie tracking as much as I put an emphasis on macro tracking. And we'll talk about that in a second. All right, so first things first is why, Jason, why do I have to bring my scale to the restaurant with me and carry it in my purse or back pocket 24 hours a day? You don't actually have to do that. If you want to do that, that is always a positive, and I would appreciate it. But sometimes we just don't want to do that, myself included, and it just is what it is. We need to figure out, or we need to understand this thing called portion control. All right. Forget counting your calories. Don't forget counting your macros. But so to do that, we want to try to understand portion control in a visual sense. Now, understand this. What I'm talking about between calorie counting and macro counting. All right. Calorie counting is a recipe for failure. It's annoying. It's very impractical, to be honest with you, and it can be about 25 to 30% inaccurate, both on the positive and negative side. That's why a lot of you have realized when you hit your macros, you may not necessarily hit those calories. All right. The reason why I gave you that caloric number is because that is a baseline or a basis of those other things that are inside of it. All right. I couldn't give you the macros without initially understanding the calories. All right. But what's more important to me is meeting those proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. So with that, we're going to go over some portion control guides, some visual representatives of what those things are: proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. All right. Now I'm going to show you with my hand what I'm talking about, but I'm also going to put up some visuals on the screen as well when we talk about those things, so maybe you can get a different representation of what it could look like. All right. So, hey, your hand is proportionate to your body. Its size never changes, and it's always with you. So if you need it, unless any of you have a prosthetic hand, but I don't think so. So it's a perfect tool to help you measure food and nutrients with minimal counting that's required. All right. So the four different platforms that we're going to use with our hand is we're going to use the palm, we're going to use the fist, we're going to use the cupped hand, and then we're going to use the thumb. Okay. So we're going to go through this in steps. The first step is going to be protein. The next step is going to be vegetables or carbohydrates. And then that last step is going to be fats. All right. So the first step, step one, is how do we measure proteins? Pretty simple. A serving of protein is typically going to be the palm of your hand. All right. And I'm going to show you that on the screen right now. The palm of your hand. That's going to be that serving of protein. So if we're at a restaurant and we're ordering protein, whether it be any type of meat, fish, eggs, cottage cheese, even Greek yogurt, 2 palm-sized portions are typically going to be around 40 to 60 grams of protein. All right. So if you're looking at this, right, and I've got 2 chicken breasts that are the size of my palms, that's about 40 to 60 grams of protein. The same as it with 2 hamburgers that are the size of my palms. About 40 to 60 grams of protein. Now, why that 20% or that 20 gram differential? That has to do with thickness, and we're not going to really get into that. So that's going to, 40 to 60 grams, that's going to help you out better than nothing, or trying to, if you don't want to go to Chili's and you're embarrassed with your scale. All right. That's for men. Now, for women, 1 palm-sized portion is around 20 to 30 grams. All right. So I hope that helps with proteins. With vegetables, specific carbohydrates. For the men, 2 fist-sized portions of vegetables, whether it be broccoli, spinach, carrots, a salad. All right, 2 fist-sized portions. All right, that's a good sized vegetable to have. 2 fist-sized portions. one fist-sized portion would be a good amount of vegetables to have. All right. Now, to get into the specifics of that with a carbohydrate, 2 cup-handed sized portions is going to be around 40 to 60 grams of carbs. All right. We're talking about grains, starches, beans, and fruits. All right. Now, you're probably wondering, well, why didn't you talk about what the actual macro number is for that vegetable? It's such a small number that you really don't have to count it. But if you do want to count it, that fist-sized portion is going to be around 20 grams of carbohydrates. All right, 2 fist-sized portions. That one fist-sized portion for a woman is going to be around 8 grams of carbohydrates. Now we're talking specifically vegetable, anything that's green or colorful within the vegetable realm. All right. Now going back to our grains, starches, and beans, and even fruits, because they're really high in things like sugars. 2 cup-handed sized portions are going to be anywhere from 40 to 60 grams of carbs for men, and then 1 cup-sized hand portion is going to be around 20 to 30 grams of carbs for women. Okay. Next, getting to our fats. And when I talk about fats, we're talking about oils. We're talking about nuts, seeds. We're talking about even butters. All right, avocados. Even though it's a vegetable, it's in that fat realm. All right, that's where we get to the thumbs. 2 thumb-sized portions is around 15 to 25 grams of fat. All right, whereas for a woman, 1 thumb-sized portion is around 7 to 12 grams. Okay. So if there are any questions about that, hit me up on Facebook, and understand that while this isn't a perfect thing, all right, it is a helpful thing for you to use when you're in the restaurant, when you're out and about. You don't want to pull that scale out, and it's just something that you're embarrassed about. I totally get it, and I totally understand. Okay.